So we are here with Father Rod, and we thank him for joining us because he's going to share some of his reflections regarding Catholic Education Week next week. Thank you very much for joining us, Father Rod. We were wanting to look at the 8 gospel values, and we know that the first one is faith. And when we think of faith, what do you think of, Father Rod?
What we try to communicate to the young people in our schools is that they are people of great value, and that value is rooted in the fact that they were created by God, loved into existence by God, and that they have an eternal destiny. So, and that God is calling them to a loving, intimate, warm, and life-giving relationship. So, if we could communicate that to these young people, then I think we're achieving our purpose for sure.
Wonderful. And I know during this time of self-isolation, it's always a little challenging to be able to show these values, but can you think of an example of where someone might be able to show their faith during this time?
Well, while away from church, the active practice of their faith, at least in that way, a person could exercise their faith by personal prayer, by watching the televised masses that are available, by praying with their family, by taking a moment before they go to bed to make sure they address a few words to God. Taking the initiative. You know, the thing about faith is, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. If it's simply in your head, faith, but you never really do anything about it, it never goes anywhere. But if you make an effort to exercise your faith, and that faith grows stronger, it's like a relationship you have with anybody. You know, you've got to develop it. You've got to put yourself out and communicate with that person, and so our relationship with God grows through prayer. It's a big way of developing that relationship, and also of trying to share the peace of Christ with those in your own home, with whom you're probably spending a lot of time. Most people are spending a lot of time these days. So there you go. That's how I would say faith can be exercised at home. And I'm sure there are other creative ways as well that people can come up with to demonstrate their faith. Honestly, meals for people who are incapacitated or unable to get out. I must admit, I've been on the receiving end of a few of them over this pandemic. And even now, when I'm not feeling all that great, they're continuing to flow in. I was joking with somebody that, that show, my 600-pound life, in about a month, I'm going to be on that show. Going to be 600 pounds for sure. So there you go.
Thank you very much, Father Rod.
You're welcome, Rob.
And so the next gospel value that we're looking at is hope. And so what do you think of when you think of hope, Father?
When I think of hope, I think of the belief that the world is rooted, that creation is rooted in the love of God, and that God has a plan for creation and for each person in it, that the future of the world is ultimately in God's hands, and that we can entrust ourselves to God, who has a loving plan for the unfolding of human history. And who calls us all to salvation, to the fullness of life. So trust in God, hope, trust. God is the anchor that we can rely on in difficult times to help us navigate the choppy waters of life like we're going through right now. So, and this is an excellent time to reflect on the virtue of hope, for sure, because we all need lots of it.
And so can you think of a way that someone might be able to show that sense of hope during this time?
Well, if possible, I think it's hope can be exercised by anticipating a return to a lifestyle that's a little more normal than the one we're living now, and also maybe making plans for that time as well. If your property allows it, if you have some property, it's a nice time to get out and enjoy that property that you have. Plant some flowers, take some leaves, get the lawn ready for mowing eventually. Anticipate the coming of the summer. Very practical ways of getting ready, of exercising hope. If you're a young person or even not so young, take this time to clean up your room or clean up your office. Prepare yourself for the future in that way. So practical ideas for hope.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.